Hey everybody, hope you had a good 4th of July weekend. I will try to, in this video, help you with your essay assignment that's due at the end of this week coming up. And I've tried to streamline everything. Listen, I know we got a condensed time frame when with the weekend and everything, the holiday pushes us back a little bit. So trying to use common sense to get you to understand some of these concepts here. And basically the idea this week is we're reading Tennyson and we want to understand what Tennyson is doing. And so that's where I want to start. So to do this essay right, read Tennyson. Now the assignment asks you to read the first 65 cantos. You can read more than that. You can read the whole thing. I've asked you to read at least half of it. But read what you're going to read. If you go past that and finish it, that's great. Then address the video that the critic, Eric Wilson, does about Tennyson. Then come back and read Tennyson. So it's all about your reading, your understanding of the criticism, and then applying the criticism to your reading. But it has to start with your reading. It's not difficult reading. I've given you some of the context here. But specifically about the essay right now, without providing more context, because I'm going to do that in the video. It's 3 pages long. I want you to use MLA form. That's why we have a lot of just module elements about MLA in this one. You should know how to do it by now. Some of it's a refresher, probably most of it for you. Just make sure you double space, use quotes properly, interpret the quotes properly, etc. If you have any questions about that, you can always just reach out to me via Zoom or email. But 3 pages is a brief space. I expect you'll probably go over it. But the idea is that you are taking the ideas of in memoriam, internalizing them, and then expressing them by showing your understanding of Tennyson. So this is not just about what you think. I want you to first establish that you understand what Tennyson is thinking, and then show how you react to his thinking. So the critic Wilson talks about a lot of the questions that are raised in memoriam. Doubt is a big one. What do we do with grief? And there is a lot of change going on in his world at the time. And when you lose somebody, as he lost Arthur Henry Hallam, there's no straight path out of it. I'm studying to be a counselor right now, a mental health counselor, and we know that grief has no linear pattern and it can last an indeterminate amount of time. And in the poem, it lasts around 3 Christmases. At least that's what the poem does. We don't know what Tennyson went through. But he's asking basic questions about what this means to lose somebody so young. I think Hallam was 21 when he died. And should I carry it around with me? Do I just need to push on and forget about it? And usually, there's a synthesis. You got to take that person with you as you go and keep them alive. So you can't just forget about it. But there are bigger questions. And one of those bigger questions is, what's the meaning of it all? At the beginning of the Victorian era, this sense of optimism about perfection through art, through social improvement, and that we're marching our way to sort of some day where it all comes together and it would all be right if we just follow the pattern of discipline. But it was possible. Loss undermines that, right? And by the time that Tennyson is writing in memoriam, it's published in the 1850s, the Victorian world knew about the studies of Darwin. Origin of Species hadn't been published yet, but they knew about it. They knew what it was going to say, that instead of seeing ourselves as these perfect creations of God, that they're animals and we struggle and we fight, and then life can be nasty and brutish and short, as Thomas Hobbes said. And Darwin's grandfather, Erasmus, even about the turn of the century, it looks like circa 1800, had said, people struggle to survive, right? I mean, this was not a new concept to Darwin either. So if we are animals, if we are bound to the earth, if we are biological creatures, the question is what our soul means, right? And what happens to it after death? Some of the big questions that have been asked back in Mesopotamian times with Gilgamesh, the Epic of Gilgamesh, and continue to our present day, the question of death and how we deal with it is a central question of literature. So I want you to get Tennyson's take on it, understand it, be able to articulate your understanding of Tennyson's text, understand the questions that the critic asks of you, and in a 3-page essay synthesize those things. Questions the critic puts forth, your understanding of Tennyson, and your own take on it, and an essay that's at least 3 pages, should be a little bit longer, probably 3 to 4 in length. Good luck. What I'm going to do is post another Breaking the Code video later today when I have a chance to talk about Ulysses, another piece that you'll be reading this week. It's a singular poem, and the idea is it's a microcosm for some of Tennyson's thinking, and you'll be able to glean some information that you can apply to your reading of In Memoriam. All right, everybody. I will see you soon. Take care.